Man, so excited about this video today and the content. Oh man, it's powerful. It's been a great Easter Sunday. Grieving after a narcissistic, abusive relationship. Man, so I'm just going to tell you, so since I've started on this journey, and I learned about narcissism probably 20 something years ago, maybe 24 years ago. I don't know. But man, I really started getting into it during the pandemic. When the pandemic started, because I just thought how strange that the whole world can buy into this global gaslighting. So, and ever since I've been studying and researching and watching these videos on narcissistic abuse, man, I have seen in my business, my hair business, I do hair for a living, I'm a cosmetologist. I've seen little by little, I've seen my narcissistic clients fall by the wayside. Little by little, my narcissistic personality style clients have stopped coming to me. And I am so thankful. And I'm going to tell you, what God, I'm going to do what God has called me to do. And I will not back down. And, when God calls you to do something, here's what God has called me to do. God has called me, number one, to quit drinking alcohol. So I've been 23 years clean and sober. Okay? And so my calling is to help other drug addicts and alcoholics achieve sobriety. I also like working with the family and friends of alcoholics. And most recently, I am now working with people like you, if you're watching this video, people who have been exposed to narcissistic personality styles or antagonistic personality styles. Because once you see it, you can't go back. And so this is what God's called me to do. And I don't want to be like Jonah. I don't want to spend 3 days in the belly of the whale. I'd rather just go on to Nineveh. And if you're a Christian, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do what God's called me to do. So let's get into the meat of this content. So because if you are grieving from a narcissistic, abusive relationship, it is like no other grief that anybody has experienced. Dinesh Bashir, he says that being narcissistically abused is the worst trauma that a human being can experience. And I believe that. It is the worst that I've experienced. I'm 107 days no contact with my ex-narc wife. And I had somebody today ask me, it's a very poignant question. They asked me, how long are you going to be in love with your ex-wife? Great question. Great question. Excellent. Really made me think. Well, so here's the answer. I am not in love with my ex-narc wife. That's not what this is. It is called a trauma bond. It is like Stockholm Syndrome. When you, and I had another friend send me a meme today, it's not that as an empath, you can't see what is happening. We see it very clearly what is happening. The problem is that we cannot understand or fathom how somebody who says that they love me can deliberately hurt me and do harmful things and be cruel to me. It's difficult as an empath to believe that somebody is saying, I love you, but I'm gonna fucking hurt you. It's really hard to comprehend that. And so if you've been narcissistically abused, I'm going to tell you that you will grieve as long as God wants you to grieve that relationship. And there is no time limit on it. And I'm getting chills right now. I apologize that I can't take your grief away, or I can't give you the answers to take your grief away, but nobody can take your grief away except God. And it's there for a purpose. Pain is the touchstone of spiritual progress. And I'm going to tell you what, I don't care if all of my narcissistic clients quit coming to me and I go broke. I do not care. I will preach the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I will do what He's called me to do on this planet. And I will not serve, you cannot serve God and mammon. You can't serve God and money, okay? I'm going to serve God. So, all you rich narcissists, you can take your money to some other hairdresser. I will do what God's called me to do. And I will not shut up about narcissistic abuse because it is very real. And I'm going to tell you, I talked to another friend the other day, and he asked me, he said, John David, he said, aren't you tired of people telling you to get over it already? It's a great question. Great question. And I don't know if I'm tired of people telling me to get over it. I don't know. But I can tell you this man, this person who asked me this question, his loved one committed suicide 6 years ago. And he is still not over the loss of his loved one. And it's been 6 years. You know, and as an empath, we love and we love hard and we love deep, and that ain't going to change. But I want to, you know, I came across a video, and this therapist said that the question that, instead of asking the question, why do we love this person? Why do we love the narcissist? Why do we fall for their shit? Instead of asking that question, what we need to ask is, why does somebody who claims that they love us, why do they treat us the way they treat us? Why do they deliberately cause us emotional harm and mental anguish and psychological trauma? Why, if they love us, is that happening? That's the question you need to ask. And I'm going to finish this up with something very powerful. And I want you to think about it, because it is absolutely applicable to narcissistic abuse. I heard this story one time about a 10-year-old kid whose mother doused him in gasoline and set him on fire. I know that's hard to comprehend if you're an empath, that a mother could do this to their 10-year-old child. Pour gasoline on the kid and set him on fire. Well, so the way the story goes is, when the kid, when he woke up in the emergency room, who do you think is the first person that he was asking for? That's right, he was asking for his mother, because she had developed a trauma bond with the child. He was 10 years old, and all he knew is mom, and that she loved him, but she also set him on fire but he's still asking for his mother. And that's what it's like to be in a narcissistic abusive relationship with somebody for 10 years. 10 years, okay? And then they pour gasoline on you and they set you on fire. It's very hard to comprehend the cruelty of that type of act and thinking and mentality. And I want no part of it. So if you are grieving the loss of a narcissistic abusive relationship, I don't care if it's your mom, it's your kids, it's your significant other, whatever. Do not let anybody tell you when you need to stop grieving. Because in my experience, what I have found is the people that do not appreciate or empathize with your grief are freaking narcissists. Because narcissists cannot comprehend how we care so much and love so deep. So you keep that in mind and you grieve ever how long that it takes for you to break that trauma bond. And it has to be broken. Ask Jesus to break it. It will break, I guarantee you. I love you and good night. I love you. Be good to yourself.